Good morning, children, and welcome to Assembly, our first assembly this term. So, the rest of the year we've been learning about things like optimism and empathy. And this term we're going to learn about another word, which is respect. But first of all, let me tell you about the story I'm going to read and what this assembly is about. So, this assembly is all about you, because every single one of you is special in some way. So, I want you to just have a little think about what makes you special. So, every time anywhere in the world a new baby is born, that baby is going to be different from every other baby ever born before them. So, there's millions and millions of children all across the world, and no two of them are the same. Every one of them has something special that makes them who they are. So I'm going to ask your teacher now to pause the video and ask you to close your eyes and have a big think about what makes you special. How are you different from other people? It might be something you can do. It might be something you've said or done that you're proud of. But stop the video now and then have a little think. Turn and talk to a partner, and then maybe your teacher will let you share some of your ideas. Off you go. So I'm sure that you had some wonderful ideas that show us why every one of you is special and how lucky we are to all be together in our school community. But there are times when sometimes we just forget how special we are, and we think that others can do things far better than we can. And sometimes when we feel not so great, we forget our special gifts. And that's what the story today is going to be about. It's about a mouse and some other animals that lived in the forest. And Mouse had forgotten what her special gift was. Let's have a listen to the story. Good to be me, all about self-respect. Here are some of the animals that live in the forest that Mouse meets. Now I need you to help me when I read the story, because every time Mouse says, "I'm no good, I'm only a mouse," I want you to think in your head, "Believe in yourself, Mouse, believe in yourself." Do you think you can do that? Should we try now? Believe in yourself, Mouse, believe in yourself. Okay, let's start the story. Mouse was feeling sad. She was the smallest and weakest animal in the forest. "I don't want to be a mouse," she said. "I wish I didn't have this little body and short legs and thin tail." Mouse went to see Lion. Lion was the king of the forest. When he roared, everyone did just what he said. Mouse knew that Lion was a great teacher and a great leader, and wished that she was a great leader too. She looked up at him and said, "I would like to be a leader like you, Lion." But Lion just laughed. "I am strong," he said in a great voice, "but you are too small and weak." Mouse hung her head and walked sadly away. After a while, she met Gazelle. Gazelle could run faster than the wind. Mouse gazed up at her and said, I would like to be able to run like you, Gazelle." Gazelle laughed a soft and gentle laugh. "Poor little mouse, I can run fast because of my long legs, but look at your little legs." Mouse felt sadder than ever. Her shoulders sagged and her eyes turned down. "I'm no good, I'm only a mouse." Believe in yourself, believe in yourself. But Mouse was sad, and she walked on through the forest until she met Monkey. Monkey was swinging through the trees. He used his tail to dangle down in front of Mouse. "I would like to be able to climb like you, Monkey," said Mouse. But Monkey cackled. "I can climb because of my elegant tail. Look at your skinny little tail. Why, it doesn't even curl." And Monkey swung back into the tree and away through the forest. Mouse's heart sank even more. A tear formed in the corner of her eye. "I'm no good," she said. "I'm only a mouse." "Believe in yourself, Mouse. Believe in yourself." But Mouse was too unhappy to hear anything. To her, it seemed that all the other animals in the forest were special in their own way, and she was just a silly, unimportant little mouse. She wandered on through the forest until she found a small hole and hid inside. She felt so bad that tears fell from her eyes. All of a sudden, Mouse heard a terrible noise. It was such a loud, scary noise that it made her heart beat loud in her little chest. It sounded to Mouse as though all the animals in the forest were calling out at once, as if they were all calling for help. She could hear Lion roaring, Gazelle crying, and Monkey shrieking. "What can I do?" she thought. "I'm only a mouse. How can I help all of these animals?" She put her nose out of the hole. She was very frightened, but she knew she had to find out what was wrong. As she scurried towards the forest, the terrible noise got louder and louder, and suddenly she came to a clearing. All the animals were trapped inside cruel cages. Hunters had come to the forest and caught them. Help us," cried the animals desperately. "Please help us, Mouse." But Mouse said sadly, "I'm only a little mouse. I can't lead like you, Lion, or run like you, Gazelle, or climb like you, Monkey. I'm sorry, but I'm not good enough to help you." Mouse turned and walked away. The animals called after her, "Help us, Mouse, help us." Mouse felt so miserable. She wished there was something she could do to help, but all she could say to herself was, "I'm no good. I'm only a mouse." Believe in yourself, Mouse. Believe in yourself. Mouse stopped. What was that? In her heart, she thought she'd heard faint voices helping her to remember that she had her own special gift. As she stood there listening, a wonderful thought struck her. She remembered that the cages were tied with string. "Go back, Mouse," she said to herself. "Go back. You have fantastically sharp teeth that are really good for chewing." Mouse turned round and ran back to the cages. In her little mouth she took the string that tied each cage and chewed and chewed until at last the doors fell open. The animals were free. Lion picked up Mouse gently in his strong jaws and lifted her onto Gazelle's back. The animals ran and ran until they were far away from the cages. When they felt they were safe, they stopped. Gazelle lay down, and Lion carefully lifted Mouse from her back and placed her on the ground. First Gazelle, then Monkey came to Mouse and thanked her for rescuing them. Lion was last. "You are a hero, Mouse. You saved us from the hunters. What can we do to thank you?" said Lion. Mouse thought for a moment, and then she said, "You have already given me everything that I could ever want. You have shown me that it is good to be me. Thank you for helping me with that story." And now again, think of the different things that made each of the animals in the story special. Why do you think it was so hard for Mouse to believe in herself and remember that she had a special gift? Some people have special gifts that are really easy to see, and some are not so easy to see. When you're feeling not great about yourself, try hard to remember that you have got a special gift that you talked about before, and that is a way that makes you special. So try to keep that thought in your head, what it is that makes you special and different to other people. As this term, we learn more and more about respect, because we need to really remember how we're special and have respect for ourselves, so that then we can respect others. So I look forward to lots and lots of learning about respect and how good it is to be you over this term. Don't forget, you can always say to yourself, believe in yourself, believe in yourself. It's good to be me. Have a great day. Good morning and welcome to Assembly, the first assembly of Term 3. Now, we've been looking at optimism and we've been looking at empathy. And this term, we're going to turn our attention to another of our values, and that's respect. So I just want, before we go any further, I'm going to ask your teacher to pause the video and turn and talk with a partner about what does respect mean? What does it mean to you? Pause the video now. Now, hopefully you got a chance to share some examples with your class. And I'm sure when you did share some examples, you talked about how respect means thinking about other people, not hurting their feelings, not being selfish. Maybe you talked about respecting the environment and respecting property and things like that. And all of those are very, very true. All of that comes under the term respect. But today we're going to be looking at another kind of respect. And it's a really, really important type of respect, probably the most important type that there is. And that's self-respect. Because if you don't have respect for yourself, then how can others respect you? So it's really important that we turn and we look at ourselves and think about self-respect. That means liking ourselves for who we are, not for what we can do or what we can't do, just for who we are as people. So there's a very famous Russian author called Dostoevsky, and he had a saying. He wrote down something that said, if you want to be respected by others, the great thing is to respect yourself, because only by that, by self-respect, will you compel others to respect you. So self-respect, it seems, is a really important first step in being able to respect others. Keep this in mind, and I hope you enjoy the story. And while I'm reading it, have a think about how it relates to self-respect. Thank you for listening. Just Ask by Sonia Sotomayor, illustrated by Rafael Lopez. Just ask. Be different, be brave, be you. Hi, I'm Sonia. My friends and I are planting a garden. Gardens are magical places. Thousands of plants bloom together, but every flower, every berry, and every leaf is different. Each has a different smell, a different colour, a different shape, and a different purpose. Some flowers need lots of sunlight, others thrive in the shade. Some have to be trimmed regularly, while others are better off left alone. Some trees and flowers are more fragile, and others are more hardy. Kids are all different too. Some of us are in a hurry, and others take more time. Some of us seem quiet and shy, while others are chatty and loud. And some of our differences are easy to spot, while others take longer to notice. Each of us grows in our own way, so if you're curious about other kids, just ask. Not everyone is comfortable answering questions about themselves, but I don't mind. What am I doing in this picture? Several times a day I prick my finger to measure the sugar in my blood, and I give myself a shot of medicine called insulin. I do this because I have diabetes and my body doesn't make insulin naturally like other people's. Even though this can sometimes hurt, I gather all of my courage to do it to be healthy. Do you ever need to take medicine to be healthy? I do. My name is Raphael and I have asthma, which means I sometimes have trouble breathing. When that happens, I take a break and I use an inhaler with medicine to make breathing easier. Quiet time helps me slow down and catch my breath. My inhaler is like a tool to help my body. Do you use a tool to help your body? I'm Anthony and I use a wheelchair to get around. Even though I can't run with my legs, I can go super fast. How do you get from place to place? My name is Madison and my guide dog Lucky helps me get places safely because I'm blind. My friend Arturo is blind too. He uses a cane to get around. Even though we can't see, we strengthen our other senses and notice lots of details others may miss. We can hear with our ears, smell with our noses, and feel with our hands. How do you use senses? I'm VJ. I learn about the world differently because I can see, but I can't hear. I'm deaf. Most of the time I communicate with people using my face and hands through sign language. It's cool to know another language. I also love reading and writing. What about you? I'm Bianca and I have dyslexia, so I have to work really hard and take my time when I'm reading and writing words. Sometimes I use a computer program to help me. I love learning by doing things, and my imagination is full of ideas, and I'm very good at making art from the pictures I see in my head. Are you really good at something? I'm great at dinosaurs. I know all about them. I'm Jordan and I have autism. Organising and counting all my toy dinosaurs again and again makes me feel calm. My classmate Tiana also has autism, but it's different for her. She doesn't talk, but I like to talk. I especially like to talk about dinosaurs. What do you like to talk about? For me, listening comes more easily than talking, and I'm a really good listener. My name is Anne, and I speak with a stutter, so I sometimes repeat a word or get stuck when I try to say it. It may take me a little longer to express myself, and sometimes I'm too shy to talk, but I understand everything that's going on. Do you ever wonder if people understand you? I do. My name's Julia, and sometimes I wiggle or make sounds that I can't control because I have Tourette's syndrome. People may look at me funny because they think I'm not paying attention or just acting out, but it's not true. I am listening. I don't always like having to explain. It frustrates me, but it helps when I tell people that it's just what my body does. Do you ever feel frustrated? My name is Manuel, and I have attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. It's also called ADHD. I can get frustrated when I feel the need to move around, even though I'm supposed to sit still. When my teachers and friends are patient with me, if I forget something or get distracted, I can get myself back on track. What's helpful to you? I'm Nolan. It's helpful to me when the food I eat has a clear label that says it's nut-free, because I'm allergic to nuts. They can make me sick, so that I would have to go to the hospital if I ate any, even by accident. So I always tell people about my allergy, and I ask if any food has nut ingredients. Speaking up keeps me healthy. How do you use your voice? I love to sing, and I love to talk, and I love to make new friends and be included. I'm Grace. I was born with Down syndrome. Kids like me with Down syndrome have an extra building block called a chromosome in our bodies, but we are all different from each other too. I can do almost anything any other kid can do, though learning new things can take some time. One way I learn is to ask questions. What helps you learn? It's me again, Sonia. I ask questions too. When something seems different or new, I just ask my parents or my teachers, and they help me to understand, especially if my friends don't feel ready to explain. This is what I've learned. Imagine if all of the plants in the garden were exactly the same. Like, what if we only could grow peas? That would mean no strawberries or cucumbers or carrots. It might also mean no trees or roses or sunflowers. Just like in our garden, all the ways we are different make our neighbourhood and our whole world really more interesting and fun. And just like all of these plants, each of us have unique powers to share with the world and make it more interesting and a richer place. What will you do with your powers? So, thank you for listening to the story. And it is so true what Sonia said. How boring would a garden be if all the flowers looked, smelt the same, in everything about them was exactly the same. It is in fact the colours, the smells, the sizes, the shapes, the time of year they blossom, the fruit that sometimes they produce. That's what makes the garden so special and beautiful, and that's no different to our school. The more diverse we are and different we are, and different things we have to bring, the more exciting and fun our community is. So I'd like you now to just close your eyes, just for a few moments, and think about something that makes you really special. It might be something you can do. It might be something you've said or done in the past. Maybe nobody even knows about it, or maybe all your friends do know. Just take a few moments now. And when you have thought about that thing that makes you special, try to capture that feeling it brings and that thought. Whilst we learn over the next term about respect, hold on to that feeling and thought and see what other things that's special about you, that you learn about yourself, that you can add to those thoughts. Remember, the main thing is, if you want to be respectful to others, at first you must learn how to respect yourself for who you are. I look forward to all the learning that will take place this term around respect. I look forward to listening and hearing all about it and hopefully seeing it in action. Thank you for listening.
Miss Pauline, I really love that idea. To consider what's special about each and every one of us would really help us understand ourselves and also other people too. Have you ever heard of a wham?
Wham, wham, wham.
I think this is a perfect place for a wham. A wham is a list of things that are so incredibly fantastic about yourself. That's called a what's hot about me.
Wham, wham, wham.
What if we create a list of things that are hot and fabulous about Miss Pauline? What would be some things that you would think are special about her that make her unique and fabulous and wonderful? Will you turn and talk to a friend and have a class discussion about what might be some things on that list that make All right, so last week I asked a few of your friends what might be some words that they would come up with to describe Miss Pauline. Miss Pauline is fun. Was that on your list? Next one, nice. So we have fun and nice. And the third one that came out a lot was the idea of being generous. And those of us that work with Miss Pauline know that she is very, very generous indeed and gives a lot of her heart and soul. So that's nice. So fun, nice, generous. The next one I bet you had, because it came out a lot also, is the idea that Miss Pauline is really happy. And that comes across in many ways. And then also the last one, because we wanted, was helpful. So I wonder out of those 5, how many your class discussed. So fun, nice, generous, happy, and helpful were the 5 that came out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to send her that list. I'm going to send her a special wham. Notice what's hot about me. And she will know that those are some attributes or qualities that we think she has that are special. So I'll send those to her now. Let's see how it works out.
Wow, I am so thrilled and feel so proud of those lovely descriptions and words to describe what's hot about me. Normally, if I was thinking about what's hot about me, I'd probably say my temperature. Because when I'm in Singapore, I'm always hot. Anyone who knows me well knows I'm always really hot. But those things have really reminded me about things that maybe I am are special about me, and so things I might have forgotten about completely, as well as actually making me look at things in a different way. So thank you very much for that. You have certainly increased my feelings about myself and respect for myself, and I hope that as you go on with the learning and respect, looking at yourself first and working with your classmates, that you too will get the same lovely feeling I have now about how to actually respect yourself and see how other people view you. It really is quite wonderful. I'm so pleased about that. Thank you for making my day.
that felt great to hear how Miss Pauline felt about us sharing those attributes and qualities that we saw in her that are really fabulous and hot and wonderful about her. So she has a list of those things. Now, I think it'd be a great opportunity to share that love throughout the school. So right now, kids, teachers, just sit on the sideline for a minute. Kids, I'd like for you to come up with 5 qualities or attributes that the adults in your classroom have that you think are really special and unique. And so I'd like for a couple of you to lead the discussion in your classroom and to have all of the students come up with a list of maybe 5 things for each of the adults in your classroom that you think are special and are worthy of being on a WHAM list. So thank you for doing that, and we'll check back in a few minutes to see how that goes. Did that work out okay? I hope you guys were able to come up with a list of 5 attributes or qualities that you thought described the adults in your classroom. And so the exciting news is that's just the beginning of our WHAM list. We're going to start spreading that out. And so as the next few days come along, everyone in your class is going to be able to have a list of attributes and qualities that make them special and hot and amazing. So look forward to sharing those attributes and qualities with all of your friends in the classroom as we move forward. And maybe if you're feeling particularly energized by this idea, maybe send a random WHAM list to someone. It could be a secretary, it could be someone in Sodexo, it could be someone reception or cleaner or your helpers or your mom or your brother or your sister or a friend that's in another class. Imagine if we could put it out there how special individuals are, and that would just be amazing. So give it a go, all right? Just remember to WHAM, WHAM, WHAM! Whoop, whoop, whoop. Have a great week.